Hello everyone, welcome back to my second channel. Today we're going to be talking about how every time you look in the mirror, you're actually hypnotizing yourself, and you're probably hypnotizing yourself in a negative way when we can actually utilize the mirror as a tool to completely reprogram not only your mind, but your entire life. So once you learn this, your reality will never be the same. So if you're new to my channel, this is my second channel. I have a main channel called Simone Squared, and on my channels we love to talk about psychology, as I have a psych background, and we mix it with science and spirituality. So I love to do my research, I love to back things up, I like to combine everything together and see how everything interlinks. Blah 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 blah. So first of all, how does the mirror actually hypnotize us? Mirror gazing induces altered states. So psychologist Giovanni Caputo found that gazing at your own reflection in dim light for under a minute reliably triggers the strange face in the mirror illusion. And researchers have since used the mirror gazing task as a method to induce dissociation in lab settings. Therefore, sustained self-focused attention at the mirror actually shifts our consciousness and measurably. And in certain religions and spiritualities, they talk about the mirror being a portal as well, which is why often before you do any type of work, you should smudge your mirror and energetically clean it. Or why some people, you also go into their home and you see that there is maybe like a blanket over the mirror or the TV, because you can see your reflection in it. It can be a gateway, a portal, and that's something to be careful about. So then what we rehearse in front of the mirror is what gets encoded in our brain. Mirror exposure research shows that the mirror is a bidirectional programming tool, meaning that guided non-judgmental mirror viewing reprograms our brain towards body neutrality by replacing habitual self-judgment with observational description. Now the inverse is also true. If structured positive viewing changes our self-perception, then years of unstructured critical viewing, which means you're scanning flaws, you're looking for something wrong with yourself, you're telling yourself you don't look good every time you look in the mirror, is the same mechanism running the wrong script daily. So how can we use this to our benefit? Repetition and emotionally charged positive self-attention is going to encode into our brain. So you need to get into the habit of every time you look in the mirror, start to look for flaws. Okay, you don't go like, oh my gosh, are my nasal labial folds getting deeper? Say the opposite. My nasal labial folds are non-existent. My skin is so plump. Every day I get more beautiful and beautiful. Like, even if you don't believe it, you should say it into your mirror. I got this in Turkey, and I use that as like my little ritual mirror that I talk into. But you don't need a ritual mirror. It's just like every time you look at yourself, guys, you really have to get into the habit of not saying negative self-talk, especially in the mirror or looking at yourself. You should only be speaking words of life. If you have a hard time changing your negative self-talk, by the way, it could be because you have spent so many years speaking negatively about yourself, or perhaps your parents even speak negatively about themselves. Science has proven that we literally inherit our mother, our grandmother, etc's beliefs about themselves. For example, like growing up, I've always been told that I'm beautiful, while there is always a thought deep down in me that I'm extremely self-conscious, and that I look in the mirror and I'm like, well, everyone's lying to me, I'm not beautiful. And this comes from my mother. My mother is genuinely beautiful, but her mother always told her, you were not beautiful, you're an ugly duckling. So she just has this belief about herself. And I remember as a child, I didn't model this belief. In fact, I would like be quite the opposite. But still, it's like there is this little part of me that thinks like my mother. And that's something that we inherit. And more than that, we absorb what's in our surroundings. You often find that a lot of women who have body dysmorphia or they have issues eating, it's because they had an almond mom growing up, and the mom would be like, yo, you got a belly, why are you eating that much? They're very critical of their daughters and how much food they're putting into their body. So naturally the child grows up and they're extremely hypercritical of themselves, of their eating patterns. And that's something we model after our parents. If you watch your mom always criticize herself or say like, I'm not going to eat because I want to get skinny, like etc., you're likely going to model this. So it's a mixture of what we grew up with, us modeling our parents, and this ancestral beliefs that we're inheriting. So I understand that it's really easy to come into a YouTube video and simply be like, yo, positive self-talk in the mirror. I understand firsthand, it is difficult. If you guys can practice this long enough, and repeatedly with charged emotions in the mirror, really feel what you're saying, it will get easier every time. The first time you do it, you're probably not going to believe. Imagine you have acne all over your face. By the way, I've been there. I had the worst acne in high school. Imagine having acne all over your face and you're like, wow, I love my beautiful clear skin. Deep down, you're laughing at yourself. Do it long enough, you will see changes. I watched a video yesterday which was amazing, and it was showing in China, some person had a tumor and they were chanting in Chinese, I think like dissipate or like disappear. And in a couple of minutes, the tumor disappeared. And it shows how much, number one, our words have frequency, energy, and power behind it. Our words are literally a spell. And two, how powerful the mind-body connection is. I'm so careful about what I speak because I know it's going to become true. And more than that, if you even type it on the internet, now you have thousands of eyes on this particular comment. That's charging that comment even more. Likewise, you can use this to generate really positive results. For example, I saw a video a while ago of how these like politicians and celebrities use manifestation, but it's actually not so much manifestation as it is energy work. One example was Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump repeatedly kept saying The Apprentice is like the most viewed show, the #1 show. Don't quote me word for word. But he said something along the lines of that when at the time it wasn't the #1 show and it wasn't doing well at the beginning. And what he's doing is he's almost like manipulating reality by saying, no, it is the #1. And then all of these other people watch it. Okay, it's #1. Eventually, there is so much energy behind this statement, whether it's true or not, that it becomes true. I'm going on a tangent, guys. This is meant to be about science, but okay, I guess we're mixing it more with spirituality. Not even spirituality, like energy work today. Words are a spell, be careful. If you really, really struggle with speaking positively, sometimes you have to take an extra step and get therapy. Every video I say, therapy is the biggest ROI, return on investment, you're ever going to make in your life. You don't have to do it forever. Do it for a couple of months, see how you feel. It is so helpful to have someone outside of yourself be able to help you with your own patterns. Your therapist would be able to identify things that you cannot identify in yourself. Once you have this awareness, this toolkit that you're only going to be able to build while working with a therapist, you have it for the rest of your life. And then later on, you stop therapy, you need your therapist again, you can like restart your sessions. Biggest ROI you can ever do. Thank you to BetterHelp for being the paid partner of this video. Now, I've talked about this in my videos. In my darkest times, I use BetterHelp. Why? Because it is literally online. It is so easy to get started. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire, and within a couple of days, they will pair you with a therapist for you. It's very unlikely you're gonna find the perfect therapist for you first couple of matches. To me, it is like dating. I'm pouring my heart and soul out to a stranger so that I can trust you, that I feel safe with you, because also feeling safe with your therapist is there to regulate your nervous system. Subconsciously, you don't feel safe with your therapist, they're just dysregulating you more. So you have to be able to change easily. And if you have mental health issues, you don't want to do in-person therapy as well, because you need to go get new referrals at your doctor, go wait in a new clinic. And I think that obstacle is why so many people don't do therapy. But on BetterHelp, it's so easy because you can change free of charge and at any time. You can schedule a video call, you can chat with them, like text whenever you want. And it's at the convenience of your own home and wherever you want. So join over 6 million people who are using BetterHelp today, helping them get a 4.8 star out of 5 rating on the App Store. So click the link here to get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. Another point that is so interesting. So self-affirmation physically changes how the brain processes self-relevant information and changes behavior. In an fMRI study by Falk, people who affirmed their core values showed more activity in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which is a region tied to self-related processing and positive valuation. But there is a critical nuance here. It worked because these affirmations were tied to their core values. Like, I am a loving person versus I am a rich person, or I am rich, I am rich. Generic affirmations that contradict your self-image can actually backfire, and that's why we use subliminal messaging as well. Because like I said, you go into the mirror, you're chanting, you're broke, you have so many bills, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. It can work for some people who are persistent, because whatever we repeatedly encode with positive affirmations and emotion behind it, it's going to work eventually. Most people don't make it that long term. If you're doing this in the short term, it can backfire, because some people actually feel stupid. They're like, okay, I just chanted this, now another bill comes in. and now you get upset. I think if you're someone who is able to actually be really consistent with your repetitions and completely deny your reality, watch my recent main channel video, guys, completely deny your reality and just ignore it, you will have changes at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, whatever you believe to be true is true. That is the truth. Your belief is the truth. So generic affirmations contradict your self-image. They can backfire and play subs when you sleep. Value anchored ones measurably shift the brain's receptivity. So if you're someone who's extremely depressed, perhaps like going in the mirror and saying the opposite of what you are will not be helpful if you're mentally ill. You should be focusing on valued anchored affirmations instead, which can make you feel a little bit better about yourself, and then you will want to go and do more later on. Okay, so here's your game plan, guys, for how we can use the mirror to change our life. Number one, audit what your current script is about yourself and about your life. We need to have awareness of what our automatic loop is. For example, yeah, you go to the mirror every time, you're like, damn, did my wrinkle get deeper? Am I getting older looking? Is that a gray hair? You can't change anything that you're not aware of. And in my last YouTube video on my main channel, I talked about this Reddit story, how the guy set a timer for 24 hours and he said, I'm not gonna react to anything for 24 hours. After this time period, he became aware of how much he was reacting in his day-to-day life, that when he set the timer, it was actually so difficult not to. So awareness is the first step. After this, he said he completely 180'd his entire life because he just stopped reacting to everything. So this means you go to the mirror, you see a flaw, ignore, move on. 2, switch from judgment to description, which means instead of judging yourself in the mirror, and this is from clinical studies, you should be describing them instead. For example, you look in the mirror, oh my God, my shoulders are so big and manly. No, you might say, no, my shoulders are broad and model-esque. I have 90-degree shoulders. Anytime a negative thought comes up, try to train yourself to describe it in a positive way instead. Okay, number 3, anchor your affirmations to your core values, not your fantasies. This is what we talked about earlier. So I'm someone who shows up for people I love instead of I'm a millionaire. Which one is going to generate longer term happiness for you is likely going to be the one tied to your core values. And also, gratitude never fails. Gratitude never fails. If you want to have the most measurable increase in not only your mood, your frequency, your entire life, you should be practicing gratitude. 4, use the mirror as a state change ritual deliberately. This is why I have my little ritual mirror. Sustained mirror gazing shifts consciousness for 2 to 3 minutes. However, you have to be careful because if you do this in dim lighting for a prolonged period of time, you can dissociate, and some people will report seeing things in the mirror. So what I do is before I go to bed, for me it's just like a ritual. I have my tea, I look in the mirror, I just talk to myself, I say positive things. I like to speak words of life and love into myself, and remember, consistency is key. It's not going to happen immediately. Number 5, pair it with an immediate action. So in the Falk study, actually people felt better after 1 month, so it was not really immediately. So what we can do to get immediate results is to end the mirror moment by doing one small thing consistent with this new identity that you affirmed. So if we go affirmation to action, this actually closes the loop. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was very interesting, and I will see you next time on my main channel and my second channel. And I'm going to Europe for the next 2 months, guys. Like, should I vlog? I'm thinking of vlogging again. I have like 5 different YouTube channels. I only post on 2 of them, and I forgot the password to my vlog channel. So I'm like, I might have to make a new channel. But should I bring the Sumo Squared Clownery vlogs back, guys? Let me know. Ich liebe dich. Tschüss.